What is up, everyone, and welcome to the Natty Standard Podcast. My name is Connor,
Kieran.
and then you've got the man himself that is joining us today,
Hey guys,
Mr.
I'm
Josh Croggon. Come on, oh, bro, exciting times, exciting times.
Are you nervous having like your first pro guest on?
You know what? I think I'd be a lot more nervous if you weren't my coach.
Oh,
It does help.
like,
It does help. It does help a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
You know that. I've spoken to you in person, and you deal with my crap every single day. But without any further ado, okay. Obviously, WNBF Supernaturals just happened this past weekend, which we literally just did a podcast covering. But you know what? We thought it would be unfair to not talk to the man himself. So first major kind of thing before we go into like straight up questions. How are you feeling post show and everything?
I'm fine. I am fine. Obviously, like we're all competitive. We all do this thing to do well. We don't go into things to do shit or to not meet our own standards. So there's an element of like disappointment, but ultimately I'm fine with the result. I accept why I looked the way that I looked and why I placed where I placed. And at the end of the day, like I know how tight it is at the top, right? And if you're on stage with 10 amazing athletes and you are 1% off, you are going to end up dropping down on the placings, and that's the game. You only win these big shows by being fucking shit hot. You don't win them by, just turning up. So yeah, I am fine. I've reflected on it. I was a bit upset on Sunday, but at the end of the day, I'm sure we'll end up going into detail on like what happened, but I cannot and I am not mad in the slightest.
Yeah, 100%. No, like we even like literally what me and Kieran were saying on the potty like yesterday. We were just saying that the lineup was absolutely ridiculous, like insane, insane. But before we go into more of that, and run out of questions that we've already got written down here, we'll go straight into that. So, me and Kieran are just going to fire questions at you, and you freeball. Take
Okay,
your
mate.
time with them. Go into detail. So first question, okay, is how did it feel stepping on stage after a big off season?
It probably more nerve wracking than I've ever felt before going into a show. You guys know, and I feel like everyone that follows me knows how much I love and respect the WNBF. And that WNBF UK show, I've always seen it as like, that's my show. I was the first person that won men's physique. I was the first person to turn pro at the WNBF UK. I've put so many clients on that stage and had so much success that I've always viewed it as my baby, rightly or wrongly. And I think because of all that, leading up to it, I was like, I can't miss. I
Yeah.
can't miss. I do not want to miss. I want this to be this, that, and the other. Da, 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 da. So, yeah. I've actually forgot what your question was. I'm just kind of...
Yeah. So it was no. Of course, man. It was how did it feel stepping on stage for after having a big off season? Because what was it? It was like just
2
under
years.
2 years.
Yeah. Just under 18 months of growing, 6 months of prep. It was nerve wracking as well. Like having had the success that I had last season, the anticipation from social media, from myself, clients, you name it. It was greater than it ever has been. And, it's a really weird one. I think you've got to experience it to truly understand it. But I don't want to sound too harsh. I just felt like there was quite a lot of people that almost wanted me to do what I did, so not do great. That's all part of the game, and that's all part of having relative success at any point in your bodybuilding career. People love seeing you, climb the ladder, and then people love to see you fall down a fucking snake. Honestly.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like literally, like, I've literally just done a video on that recently, where it's like people will clap when you're losing. They love to see it. They love to see it.
I've never had so many people smiling around me when I've lost.
Yeah.
When I came off stage, I know that this isn't really the question that you asked, but when I came off stage, I've never, bear in mind, I've won 9 shows. I've never had anyone come up to me post-show and kind of be like, oh, this could have improved, or, this is good, but that could be better. Everything's always been a bit like, Josh has won again. Sunday, it was like I was at the seaside getting attacked by shitloads of seagulls. That's the only way that I can describe it. It was like a swarm. To the point of, like, I was telling people, don't talk to me, right? I'm not going to name drop, not going to say anything like that. But I was literally, it got to the point of, don't talk to me, don't open your mouth, that, like, no words coming out, please. And then people go, okay, but I'm just like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like,
but do you feel that's because you've climbed such a pinnacle of, like, being world champion, and then people almost like bragging rights in a way of saying, oh yeah, I'm the one that's placed higher, or whatever the situation is.
You'll know this in time. It wasn't any competitors that did this. It was people that were sat in the audience, people that have done not a great amount in their bodybuilding or in their lives. Like, they're always the ones that pipe up the most. And it's like, I think putting myself in their position, it almost like mortalized me. It made me human again.
Yeah.
So, like, no one could say anything to me for the last 2 years because of what I've done, and that's fine. But as soon as you don't meet them standards, as soon as you fail, or what people think is a failure, they just see that as like the biggest green light to go in and to share their opinion where it is just not wanted, not valued, not valid. Do not give a shit what people think anyway. So I'm not going to care what people think straight after a show when they're sat in the audience, not on the stage. Honestly, that was the toughest bit about Sunday. I can handle placings. I think people forget, like, I have lost shows before. I've competed 17 times. I've won 9. That means that I've lost 8.
Yeah.
I'm fine with losing. Whenever I've lost, I've always come back better. People don't realise that. They just think, oh no, he's had this success and now he's washed.
Yeah. I was just about to say that. Literally, people's straight up normal opinion, oh, he's lost after a big hot win streak. He's washed. He's fallen off. He's gonna crumble.
No, they don't know me.
Right. Yeah. So following on from that, then, mate. Obviously, you touched on, like, the nerves and that walking into it. Did they have the nerves kind of compared to this season to previous ones?
Yeah. I'm always nervous for my first show anyway. And like I said, because the WNBF is my baby, and I want to be the most decorated, natural competitor ever, like, there's bound to be nerves. There's bound to be some kind of, I don't know, not like like a lack of excitement towards competing. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm at peace with it all.
Did you feel kind of like was the opinion of other people, because you'd obviously reached that pinnacle, was that something that was on your mind during the prep, like, kind of thinking, did that kind of make it worse?
Not really. I like, yes and no. I always, like, Josh the competitor, I'm not too fussed. It's more like the impact that it has on my business, or what people view me as in terms of, being a coach. And what is up with my phone? Oh, Tam's just sent his check-in photo. Did you hear them vibrations?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've just received all of Tam's check-in photos in about half a second.
Love that.
Yeah, so what we're on about, nerves and stuff heading into it. I've completely lost my train of thought. Sorry, boys. I have got prep brain. I'm just going to put that out there.
It's all G. Bro's got prep brain and other people stepping on stage with him as well. But it basically, like, you've answered a lot of questions already slightly as you've talked anyway. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that we're going to ask you that's only going to be nice and short. But you pretty much answered just like not really having nerves, but it was just more or less kind of like the anticipation that was building up to the show. Like everyone has, you know, especially when you've got such kind of like a name built up for yourself already, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But well, in saying that, like, what was touching on the next question? But what was kind of like when you were, what was going through your head? Like, did you ever compare yourself to anyone in the lineup? Because I know that's one thing that you said to me to not do when you go in to warm up. It's something me and Kieran talked about as well before I did my first show. We sat down and had a chat about it. It's to like not compare yourself to other people. Don't look around and go, oh, his shit hot, or this.
Yeah.
You're just going to look at someone and go, oh, you look better. Unless they look like a bag of milk, like you're just going to look at them and go, you look better than me, even though they might not.
Yeah.
You know, because you're not looking at it from a constructive point of view. So did you have at any point where you were like, oh fuck, I'm not in a good position here, kind of thing?
I've been on a judging table. Like I've judged for the last 4 or 5 years now. I know that how someone looks backstage and how someone looks on stage can be drastically different. You know, being under the lights, how someone poses, how someone presents themselves, they can all have a massive impact on placing and kind of like just the perception of an athlete. So I wouldn't say that I thought too much about other people backstage, but I knew when I was pumping up, there was like very, very minimal pump going on.
Right.
For perspective, and again, we've not spoke about it yet, but the Supernaturals was a 2-day show. I had 7 people compete over both days, and how it was all split up meant that I had someone in the first group on the Saturday, I had 2 people then in the middle group on the Saturday, and then Marvin in the overall. So that was Saturday all day. I had, I thought we worked it out between from morning till 7 p.m. I had 110 grams of carbs on a day that I was planning on having 600. So got back to the Airbnb, and I was already pretty stressed at this point. Like, fuck's sake, this is really not going to plan, and this is only day one. Great.
Yeah.
And I took my top off, and Sam, videographer, he's seen me compete so many times. He knows what I look like when I'm on. He knows what I look like when I'm off. Similar with Annabella. Annabella knows exactly what to look for in my physique. And I took my top off and looked at him, and I could just see this look in his eyes like, oh, shit. So it was like, right, let's go to Nando's. Let's just go and eat as much as I can. So it was like, got to Nando's, spicy rice, double chicken pitta, peri salted chips. I was like, right, let's get this in, go back to the Airbnb, see what that does for me in terms of like fullness and like kind of relaxing me out or chilling me out. Because, but I was very aware and very stressed once we got back to the Airbnb after being at the show. So did that, got back, a little bit more fullness, definitely nowhere near full, nowhere near, so fucking flat. And then I slammed in another 0.5 kilo of cooked rice. So, rightly or wrongly, it was a lot of food in a short period of time. To be fair, my body soaked it up really bloody quick, which kind of suggests that I had run flat and there was nothing going on. But yeah, and then it was basically Sunday, woke up, body weight had dropped like 3 pounds from the day before. And you might look at it and go, oh, great, nice one, you're nice and tight. I know what tight feels like. I know what flat feels like. I was flat as a fucking pancake. And then Sunday was basically a repeat of Saturday. I had someone in the first class, 2 people in the middle, 1 person in the final one, Marvin and Tam in the overall. There was no point where I could sit and lock in on being an athlete.
Yeah.
It was coach mode. Like, Connor, you've seen me at shows.
Yeah.
I'm like a fucking bee.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Literally. Just buzzing around. I kept my phone in my pocket the entire day so that I were able to kind of track steps. And by the time, when I went downstairs to pump up, I'd done 14,500 steps.
God damn.
Again, it was just like, I saw that, and then it was like looking at my arms, and my arms, no vascularity, 0, gone. I was like, right, I know this isn't me. I know this isn't me at 100%.
Yeah.
Started pumping up, and again, it's that like, you'll know when you're in the depths of prep and you're like doing a back session, and you've got no connection with your lats, you've got no connection with your biceps. That's what that felt like. And it was like I was doing push-ups, side raises, and it was just like, yeah, there's a tiny bit of vascularity. There's a tiny bit of a pop. There's nothing in comparison to any workout that I've had on the run up to this. There's nothing in comparison to any show that I've ever done. Like, I competed in Germany last prep, and that went terribly, but I still managed to get a pump. I just flattened off really quick, whereas at the weekend, it was just nothing from start to finish. And that's all I see. When I look at the photos, when I look at any videos, I just see me on stage. I'm like, that's me flat. That's me doing a fasted posing session. There's nothing going on.
Nothing going on.
Yeah. Legs were like watery as shit. So again, not showing that like detail that I've got in my calves and my quad. Just ultimately, it just wasn't me. But in that, there's so much learning that I've took. Rightly or wrongly, I don't think I should do the same show as my clients if I've got multiple clients.
Yeah.
Albeit, the Supernaturals was an exception because it was a 2-day show. I don't think I can do athlete mode any kind of justice when the only thing that I'm thinking about is my team. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I don't get paid to compete. I know that I've got sponsorships, but none of them are linked to competing. I don't get a bonus from anyone for stepping on stage. My job is to coach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the thing that's going to drive me forward is my clients' results. And I can hand on heart say that I gave everything to every single client over the weekend, and they looked the way that they did because obviously they did the do, but also they had the support that they needed. Yeah. And I can live with that. I can take the hit of me looking like a fucking pancake because my team did so frigging well. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, there's no regrets. I don't look at it and wish that I changed a single thing. If anything, I wish that I didn't do the show at all. I wish I was just coach mode and sat in the crowd. But it is what it is. It won't happen again.
Yeah. Okay, well, boom, there. Answered like 5 questions there, which is perfect. But, that literally was going to be another one of our questions is the whole, because obviously you did mention on your Instagram post that you were, I'm not going to ask that question actually.
No. Ask.
Okay, so obviously you had, you said that you were 70%, right? You said you were 70%, and there was reasons for that. Obviously, I knew the fact that you had a ridiculous amount of clients spread over the weekend. Same thing for, the WNBF show back in June, in the same place in Luton. And I knew what you were like on that show. Absolutely sprinting it around for all of us. And so I had it in the back of my head all day, like, oh God, because I knew how many people were stepping on stage, and I knew it was at a different caliber because at the WNBF show that we all competed last time, there was no pros, there was no potential cards or anything like that up for grabs, whereas this time there was. So it's obviously going to be a little bit more kind of like, well, I could be wrong there, but I assume that in the back of your head you're a bit more like, okay, there could be some potential bigness coming from this?
I don't give a shit if it's a tiny regional, a pro qualifier, or the Worlds. My team are, in my eyes, an embodiment of my coaching. Like, I know it's your body, but I view it as it's my body. It's like you're a fucking racehorse. You're in my stable. I want you to run as fast as you fucking can. I want you to win as much as you can. I don't care if it's a regional, first timers, pro qualifier. I want my team to win. And that's the same mindset. And I did the exact same things at the first timer show as what I did at the weekend. And again, no regrets. That's my job.
Yeah.
That's my job. And I wouldn't change how I do my job for anything.
Yeah. Just potentially maybe not compete on a weekend where you have like 7 clients all absolutely smashing it. Yeah.
Like me and Annabella, when we were driving home, we were talking about like, right, if you could go back 2 months, what would you do differently? I said I wouldn't change how I've prepped. I know I'm in shape. I know I've got room to keep digging, but you always want room to keep digging. You boys have competed before. No one, and I genuinely mean no one turns up to show 1 looking like shit hot and then continues looking shit hot for the following 5 shows. It just does not happen. There's an element of fading somewhere. There's an element of progression if you manage your prep well. But if you come in at, let's say, 90% for show 1, then you can incrementally improve up until like the big crescendo, whatever is the main event of the year. So I suppose the only thing that I would have changed was, rather than doing the supernaturals, I wish I'd have done Dubai this weekend. I've got no one doing the Dubai show.
Yeah.
Right. I could have done the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, flown out Monday, had a week in Dubai, peaking, go and do what looks like a phenomenal show.
Yeah, unreal.
Yeah. Production is mad.
Yeah. And then come back and it's business as usual. Like, there would have been no kind of clashes. Yeah, I've got people competing this weekend, but I'm not going to the show because it's UKDFB and I feel like I'm not welcome there. But that's a different topic for another day. Yeah. So, yeah. That's the only thing that I would have changed. But at the end of the day, you've got to live, learn, and put it into action when the next opportunity comes.
Yeah. I mean, touching on that slightly, it's a bit of a side tangent. Obviously, a few weeks ago, you posted a video saying about Ryan Terry, saying that he's obviously a student of the game, always improving, always changing things. Is there really anything particular that you've implemented this prep or that you've realised about yourself during the prep that's switched at all?
I would say my biggest realisation of this prep is probably how much I truly love bodybuilding. Like, I love this game. And, rightly or wrongly, I could happily do this for definitely the next 5 years, like being a competitor. I just love it. I love the lifestyle. I love the progressive mindset. I love the fact that I've failed and I've still got an opportunity to improve, refine things and come back better. Like, yeah, everything that Ryan said with being a student and continuously trying to make yourself 1% better. I feel like this weekend won't allow me to be 1% better. It'll make me 10% better as an athlete and also as a coach. So yeah, biggest learning how much I love bodybuilding. So something that I've done differently this year is I've given myself way longer on prep. So I realistically, I started prep in March, whereas normally for September, October shows, I would start end of May, start of June. So I gave myself a little bit longer, and then I kind of, at the halfway point, I gave myself a 2-week break where, let's be honest, I had a little bit of freedom on the food, I had a little bit of freedom on the drink, didn't do any cardio for a bit, really brought my steps down, and having that halfway point almost like gave me the second wind and drive to finish the prep off. Like, I got to maybe 3 weeks out of the first show not having any real signs or symptoms that I'm even on prep. You know, no element of strength lost in the gym, no kind of diet fatigue, thinking, oh, I can't wait to have a pizza or slam a Ben and Jerry's, doing none of that at any point, because I gave myself more time and kind of almost like focus more on my psychology rather than like my physiology, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, huge learnings there. And again, that kind of learning, it's only going to make me a better athlete and coach over the next few years.
Yeah, 100%. Well, yeah, that's the big thing, is like, touching on that is kind of where I wouldn't say went wrong when I like competed this year, but obviously when I did my 2 shows in May at the PCA, I didn't place where I wanted to place, even though I had outrageous expectations at the start of the year. But yeah, coming off of that instantly was just, I didn't come off of it like, this is not for me.
Yeah.
I came off of it like, this has fired me. I was like, right, like, you know, and speaking to Josh offline about this weekend and how it went, like literally just saying to me like, you know I can do better without outside factors, kind of thing. And like, I've just got to do the do, you know how we do. And it's literally pretty much what he said to me was like, we've just got to do the do. You've just got to, you know what you need to do, and you just got to do it. And literally, yeah, did it. And it just shows a completely different result. And it's just crazy.
Yeah. Like, again, as an athlete, I've been here before. As a coach, I've been here before with so many clients. You know, Connor, you managed to go from not placing to winning a show in a month.
Yeah.
You can do a lot in a short period of time.
Yeah, it's actually mental.
Last year with Theo White, I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
Third, second, like we're fucking knocking on the door. And then it just clicks. You put in the work, you get the reward. You learn all the time. I hate this with a lot of coaches and a lot of athletes where they just do the same shit all the time. Learn, be a student. How can you make tiny marginal gains everywhere? Like, it's just lazy. But I'm not like that. So I honestly, I know next time I compete, everyone's going to be like, oh shit, he's not washed. Oh damn. Damn, I've got to go back to secretly hating him. Fucking dickhead.
That must be a bit more of a drive as well, though, just to not prove people wrong, but to prove kind of that wasn't your physique, if that makes sense. That you are going to dig deep and you are going to get that result, whether they like it or not.
Yep.
Because if anything, they can laugh if they want now, but they won't be when you bring that result in, will you?
Bro, I have been on that cross trainer, and I've like full on raw dogged it. No music, no videos, nothing. Just staring the shit at that time, and it's just like, come on then. Like I'm going to do well. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I'm sure you can tell. I'm so fired up. It's untrue.
Yeah. But I think like as you know, shit as it is to, not place as well as you wanted to, but knowing that it was like, knowing full well that it was outside factors, like no one can turn around and go, oh, what, you did 14,000 steps and you only ate 100 carbs of the 600 you were supposed to eat. Oh, no, that wasn't it. It was just your washed. It's like no one can actually look at that. And if you do say that, you've got no fucking clue about the sport.
Mate, they can sit and watch the YouTube videos. Every single thing has been documented.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy.
Well, pretty much touching on that then. Like we've kind of already gone over it, but like I can just merge two into one. We've touched on like in the back room, like, where you're pumping up, looking at other people, but when you were on stage, and not necessarily thinking like, oh shit, these guys are better than me, but like what is your opinion? Because everyone's got their opinions, right? But from the outside perspective, looking at the Instagram and the posts and stuff like that, what was your perspective of being on stage with these people? Because the lineup looked mental.
Yeah, it was mental. Like, you know, to put things into perspective, Jovan's been beat once by one person. One person has ever placed higher than Jovan. That's mental.
Yeah,
right.
That is
guy
crazy.
in second, 2022 world champion, pro world champion. Right, guy in third, never lost a show. Right, I've got loads of. I don't know if you want me to go into it or
100%.
Yeah, far away, man.
So I feel like I've got a pretty clear image and vision of what men's physique is. Jovan, on the verge of being slightly out of balance because his arms are so big, but everything else is unreal. Right? Dario, he's huge.
Yeah.
We said this yesterday on the podcast.
Mate, I was like, what the hell even is that?
The guy was 86, 87 kilos on stage. Like, that's heavyweight bodybuilder weight.
Yeah.
Right? I've always been brought up, conditioned. I've always followed the sport. Men's physique guys aren't the biggest. Classic physique guys aren't the smallest. Bodybuilders are fucking huge.
Yeah.
He blurs the lines of everything. Right? I'd say he's not completely inside out, so you could kind of go, well, condition-wise, he's men's physique, but it's that mass. Bro, it was like, I've seen some good bodybuilders. He's so big.
Yeah.
He's so big. He has gone way beyond men's physique in my eyes. So if I was judging him, I maybe wouldn't have placed him quite so high in terms of like my clear vision of what men's physique is. If it's based off of mass, there's an argument to say he should have won.
Yeah.
Right? There's poses that he won on in my eyes. Front shot, Dario wins. Side shot, Jovan wins. Back shot, Jovan wins. So still really close. The guy that came third, I thought his posing was diabolical. I know that he was a new pro, but presentation is literally half of the criteria, I believe, for men's physique. I think it's symmetry, presentation, like overall muscularity. Presentation was the worst on stage. Worse than the people that didn't place. Terrible. Like, I don't know how that's not took into consideration.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, and then the guy that came fourth was a guy called Christophoros. In my honest opinion, he should have placed way higher. The mix, the top three should have been, in any order, Jovan, Dario and Christophoros. I don't get why third place was in third place. Because my understanding of men's physique isn't that. His posing, honestly, posing was so bad. I've seen so many shots where it's like, yeah, back's not level, abs on in front shots, side shots, he's closing himself off. I don't actually know how you can judge your physique when you've got your arm all the way over here rather than like showing what your physique is. Like if I knew that I could have done that, I'd have done that from every single position, boys. I knew I weren't on, I'd have just hid myself behind my arms. That's fine. Fifth place was, I think he was French. One of the biggest guys that I've ever seen. Truly huge. And I think I would have liked to have been compared against him a little bit more. But at the end of the day, I can't complain about my placing because I was shit relative to what I've been before.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. But at the end of the day, the judges, they've all got their bias and their opinion of what men's physique is, and I think that they placed according to that. You know, I can see why everyone placed where they placed. It's just my judging head would have said differently. But that was the case throughout the day. There was a few classes where I actually thought on a few of them that they read out the wrong names.
Really?
Yeah. Mate, there was a figure class. And there was a French girl. Right, this says a lot. If I'm able to remember someone's name, there was a French girl called Clementine? Clem? Unbelievable. And I thought, I saw the comparisons. I thought she's going to win a pro card. She's that good. Diced, presentation was fantastic. She was figure. She got beat by someone that was so unbelievably soft. I truly thought that they made a big mistake.
Yeah.
So I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, there was a couple. There was a couple of decisions where I was a bit confused. But again, I always look at it like I'm so new into the sport. Like I kind of just stick in my lane because I've watched classic physique stuff for so long. I've kind of got a slight idea, whereas all the other ones, no clue. So I just go off of it of they look lean, I think they should win, kind of thing. But there was some decisions where I was looking at it.
It's as clear as that.
Yeah,
it's just the odd occasion where it's like, oh no, that person's got that element, or that person's missing that.
Yeah,
that's when it's bit grey.
Yeah. Well, going slightly off that judging criteria, where do you see men's physique going though with that? Obviously, it's always changing, is it? What they're looking for. Obviously, different federations, PCA, WNBF, they look for different things. But as a whole, do you see it going back to that almost more classic look of like Ryan Terry in his first kind of season where it was smaller, or do you see it becoming more just like bigger,
like the Olympia, basically?
Yeah,
I think that each federation is almost getting easier and easier to pinpoint. So I think UKDFBA is verging on like beach model kind of vibes. If you're good looking, not completely shredded, and you're able to present well, you're going to place well, you're going to place high. WNBF, I think you can get away with not being granite, absolutely diced, because you'll get rewarded for having more mass.
Yeah.
And then you've got PCA, which is a more shredded extreme look.
Yeah.
For me, I think if I was to go, which one do you fit the best? PCA, for sure.
Yeah. We were literally talking about this. Me and Kieran were literally talking about this on Saturday as we were waltzing back from the gym. We were saying about how different federations have these massively different kind of opinions of what each one should be, and we literally said WNBF is more not being shredded to the bone, but more about kind of having muscularity or having that more bubble muscle, whereas PCA, you just got to be absolutely inside out, you've got to be shredded.
Yeah.
At least it seems like that from the outside perspective.
I feel like you're right in that.
Yeah, it looks like it. Competing this year, seeing it in person as well. The people that placed well at PCA, we even said we were too full. For me, I got too full in peak week. We peaked too much, and I don't think you were quite lean enough for that first show. No, I wasn't lean enough for that. But we came off stage and we were I looked full. But then I looked so blown out compared to everyone else, because everyone else was at least in especially on the naturals, on the natural Sunday, the top three were fucking diced. Literally.
Well, you got to put things into perspective, mate. That Sunday show, there was a lot of experienced people on there.
Yeah.
You've got to remember you were still a first timer this year.
Yeah.
You would have had more nerves going into that first show than anyone. Right? Running back-to-back shows on a weekend for your first show is not easy. There's so many little things that you might not have acknowledged at the time, and you might not acknowledge now until you've done prep again.
Yeah.
It's just bodybuilding, mate.
Oh, exactly. But it's going back onto that point of the whole different criteria for everything, and quickly before I let Kieran take the next question, top of that,
I've got a question for both of you on that, but carry on, Connor.
Well, as we were talking about it, obviously, IFBB, right? It's pretty much, it doesn't matter if you're at the Arnold's or at the Olympia or whatever. It's all the same. You have to look this way. Right?
Dental, innit? It's so clear cut.
Exactly. It doesn't matter. There's no federation. It's IFBB, right? And I was just saying, I was why isn't it like that for natural bodybuilding? Why isn't it
Because the IFBB, look, there's that many IFBB shows.
Yeah.
If there's a change in criteria, it's so gradual you don't notice it. Right? All I can say to you is look at the first Olympia of MensPhysique Competitor.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Go 5 years on, see what the difference is. They are so much bigger, so much more shredded now, but it's happened so incrementally that you just kind of think, oh, it's so consistent. It's like, no. They've been able to implement all these tiny changes at every single show for the last, I don't know how long physique's been going, 12 years? About that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I suppose with the WNBF and like the natural federations, because there's not that many shows, if there's a change in criteria, it feels like they're big steps in different directions. I can tell you for sure, when I won the Worlds, it was an aesthetic look that they were looking for. Last November, when I went to the Worlds, I was there, I was like, I'd do well here. You know? High Tour. Have you seen High Tour before?
Yeah.
Guy's phenomenal. Right? Beautiful physique. I think it'd place with me on Sunday. And the bloke won the overall at the Worlds on last year.
Yeah.
Right? Because they just went for such a different look. But when you've not got pro shows every weekend, and you've not got, let's say, 1,000 active pros competing every year, it is really difficult to kind of see what direction it's going in, because it's just kind of jumping around all the time. So my question for you guys on the difference in criteria for the federations, how do you guys feel as competitors that you know that different federations favour different looks?
It kind of, for me, it's a little tiny bit disheartening, because it's like, I'm like, well, I've got to pick a federation that I really want to stick to do well in, and then once I do really well in that, and I guess I get my pro card or whatever, I then now go, right, well, I've got to change my whole prep now to fit the other criteria, and I'm just like, that's why it frustrates me, is like someone who's just getting into it, and who has only ever watched IFBB, to now going into the natural kind of world. It's just so frustrating to, obviously, like you did just say there, which puts it into a different perspective for me, of they have so many shows, so it changes over, it's like, there's not drastic changes, and that obviously it makes much more sense now, but still, it's just like, I want to be able to do a PCA show, a UKDFBA show, a 2-bro show, and a WNBF show all in one prep, and do well on each one.
Right. So, what's the best criteria?
What is the best criteria?
Oh.
Classic or men's physique? In fact, Connor, you go classic. Kieran, you go
personally,
physique.
I think classic physique, and even though I won the WNBF show, I think classic physique, for me personally, PCA.
Okay.
Yep.
Right.
Oh, mine's a bit of a hybrid of that. I kind of, for men's physique, I like that full look, but also as long as it's aesthetics, isn't it? A lot of it. So you kind of want a bit of a blend of both. If you can have that bubbly look but still be absolutely peeled, perfect. I mean, I've always placed.
That's enhanced bodybuilding, that, mate.
That is, yeah. Anyway, I've always placed higher at PCA because, I mean, well, I came second at WNBF, first timers, and then it was third and fifth at PCA. But then at Supernaturals, we said yesterday, the caliber of competitors in the natural federations is that bloody high now. I think it outweighs the untested.
Yeah.
I'd say if you line the two up and compared them, 99% of people would say that's a more impressive lineup.
Yeah. Oh, mate. At the weekend, you had PCA Midlands, which used to be a really... I did PCA Midlands, and there were, 60-odd in physique. In 2019, my first year of competing. Seeing the reels coming up for that and comparing it with the WNBF that I was seeing in the flesh, I don't think many of them enhanced boys would have took a top 5 placing, to be honest.
Yeah, it was insane. Like, the standard was ridiculous.
It was wild. Right, so anyway, going back to my question. So, say if we'll go with Connor's version of classic. So say if all the federations go for a big shredded look, right? And you're not in a position to be able to get that level of leanness, what do you do as an athlete? Because realistically, there's no chance that you're going to be competitive with anyone at any point because you don't have that. Like I can tell you for now, if I transition to classic, I can't get a single line in my glute. I don't know what it is. I can be absolutely inside out, hamstrings dug out to shit, not a single bit of fat anywhere, just on my ass.
Yeah.
Right, and that, fucking hell, it's not that I don't train legs, it's not that I don't train glutes, it all gets done. I just, for some reason, I've still got this like fucking saggy ass skin on my glutes. It blows my mind. It's so annoying. So like if I was doing classic, there's no opportunities for me to be competitive. So there's a little bit of a challenge there as well for the federations.
I feel this. Sorry, Connor. You go.
No, go for it, dude. Go for it.
I felt this is the point where kind of, as a competitor, you have to look at it and say your physique kind of chooses your class as such. You have to look at it from a kind of objective thing and say, right, what do I fit into best? Because you might absolutely love classic, but if you're not going to, as you say, if you're not going to place in classic, you've got to take a step back and say, well, actually, have I got the V-taper? Have I got that look that Men's Physique looks for? Or am I too big for classic? Do I need to go into the open and do the bodybuilding? Yeah. It's something to look at.
Well, I suppose like the angle that I'm coming in at is it is important that the federations offer different things, to be able to like create opportunities for everyone. But as an athlete and again as a coach, you've got to put people in for shows that they're going to get the outcome that they want. Yeah. I think it's so important that like people challenge themselves. So for me, my challenge, obviously doing pro shows, but then obviously, going up against enhanced bodybuilders, I see that as the ultimate challenge.
Yeah.
You need an element of challenge, and then you also need to know that you're not going to get shat on. You're not going to have some kind of political placing or get slammed by a certain federation for X, Y, and Z. You need to take all that out of the picture.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah. Yeah. I think I come into it with just like too much of a harsh perspective because like when you said that to me, when you just asked that question, my instant thought in my head was like, unlucky. Like that was my instant reaction to, if you can't pull that physique to match the criteria, it's just like, well, you've got two choices, which one of the choices is realistically, let's be honest, probably going to be the only way. You either look at it realistically and be like, okay, well, I'm just not good to compete, so I need to just not compete. Like that's me. Like I can't compete. If I can't compete against all these people in all these federations, I've got one of two options: not compete, or what most people do, which is stupid, jump on gear. Because if you can't, like that's the thing, right? If you can't compete naturally, why do you think, unless you're just this absolute insane outlier that's got these amazing genetics that's going to work with juice, why do you think that you're all of a sudden going to place well when you hop on gear? Like, so many people do that. Like, I've got friends that don't even compete that are on, and I'm like, you literally don't even look like you train, bro. And I know you train, but it's just like, I don't know. It's just... that's a massive tangent in itself, but like
that's a whole different
podcast. But like that's my opinion is like if all the federations were the same and everyone had to be like, in my opinion, I guess my opinion is classic physique is the IFBB standard, which obviously that's just not happening naturally, right? So but yeah, if it was that, then, and like you couldn't achieve that as me, the athlete, but you could, then it's like, well, you're the better person, and I'm just not going to be able to do that kind of thing. But I guess that's just like an unrealistic way of thinking of it. Yeah. Time-wise, what are you saying? Because I know Mr. Josh Croggon's got another podcast to do.
I've got like another 30 minutes and some on with Tom. So we can go for, if you've got any more questions, fire away, boys.
Yeah.
Sound. Well, do you want to ask the next question, Kieran?
Prep one? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So kind of circling back to your peak week, really. It's kind of like looking back at your peak week. Do you think you nailed it? I know you obviously touched on the lack of carbs on the Saturday at first.
Yeah.
But overall, do you think it was probably one of the better preps you've had?
Mate, for sure. For those that don't know, I have documented this prep, or like the last 2 weeks of it, so well. And you might go, oh yeah, Josh, that's so good for content. I've done this for myself. Like, I've got all these videos that I am reviewing now to be able to make myself better literally immediately.
Yeah.
And there's so many little bits where I'm like, oh, if I do this Saturday, if I do this Sunday, if I could did this, then did that, this would happen. And if I don't do that, then this would happen. And it was literally like, I've said on every single video exactly what would happen if things didn't go right. And it happened. And equally, like, if things do go right, I did a video the other day, I think it went live last night, where I literally say, if I can manage to hit around 2,000 steps before going on stage, 300 carb and pull fluid at the right time, I'll look full as a house and incredibly vascular. And then literally next clip is me posing. I'm like, yeah, I didn't look anything like that on Sunday.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm happy with how prep went. It was just a few things didn't align on Sunday. And when you are at the top, you know, the 1% are what separate you from top 3 to fucking last.
Yeah.
The people are too good to not be coming in at 100%. And like I've said so many times already, it's the learning that these results provide you that's the most valuable. You know, what would I have learned if things had gone to shit like they did and I'd have placed second? What would I have truly learned? I'd have just gone, yeah, I can manage it. I'm great. I'm so good. But that's not the case.
Yeah.
You know, the result is so important for the learning.
I guess at the end of the day, you get to almost build yourself a blueprint every season, don't you?
Yeah.
For how to just improve.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's that, mate, every week you've got so many opportunities to improve.
Well, in saying that, biggest opportunities to improve, what are some things that you are implementing? Because like show times now, how many shows are you planning on doing now? And
it all depends. It all depends. I don't think I'm doing another WNBF show purely because the cost is ridiculous. You have to pay your pro membership every year. Pro membership's 150 quid or something. And I got mine through the post yesterday. And it expires 2 weeks before the Worlds.
Oh.
So you got to pay it again. So it's like, even if I wanted to do the Worlds, that has just completely unincentivized me to do it. Obviously, all the shows are all over Europe. So my options are Spain.
Oh,
where's Connor
go? I'm still here. My camera's just trapped itself.
Spain, Italy, or France. And I'll be honest with you, I don't fancy spending 2 to 3 grand per show to get beat by someone that's bigger than me.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're valuing at the minute or rewarding. So yeah, I'm just not closing that chapter, I think, now, and just looking at other options. I'd say like my 2 biggest options that I've got are PCA and IFBB. PCA, it's a tricky one because I've got a fair few people competing at the PCA Naturals, and I don't really want history to repeat itself. You know,